Hello and welcome. Today, we've got a really wonderful story for you, one with a huge message packed inside. It's called The Sweetest Test, and it's all about how a simple treat can teach one of the biggest lessons in life, honesty. Let's dive right in.
So, let's start with this question right here. How in the world can a box of sweets teach one of life's biggest lessons? It sounds kind of sweet and simple, and well, it is. But the answer is hiding in a surprisingly clever test set by a very wise father for his 3 sons.
All right, first up, let's meet the main players in our story. We've got the father, Mr. Hassan, the mastermind behind the lesson. Then we have the 3 brothers. Farouk, he's the oldest, Abdullah, the middle kid, and the youngest, who is really the star of our show, little Qasim.
So one day, Mr. Hassan brings out this shiny plate. And you got to picture this. It's just loaded with the most amazing, colorful, yummy-looking sweets you've ever seen. But for him, this isn't just about giving his boys a treat. Nope. This is the perfect chance to teach them something they'll remember forever.
He pulls his sons aside and gives them this top-secret mission. The instructions sound pretty simple, right? Take these delicious sweets, go find a place where absolutely no one can see you, eat them, and then come back. And with that, the adventure begins.
So Farouk, the oldest, he's like easy peasy. He doesn't waste a second. He just bolts to his room, slams the door shut, and does a quick scan to make sure the coast is clear. For him, the mission is totally straightforward.
And just like that, he gobbles up the sweets. In his mind, mission accomplished. He found a place where nobody could see him, check. And he got to eat a yummy treat, double check. 1 down, 2 to go.
Okay. Now for the middle brother, Abdullah. He figures he can be a little bit smarter about this. He decides to head to the darkest, spookiest place he can think of in the whole house, the cellar. So he carefully tiptoes down those creaky old stairs into the darkness.
Down there in the pitch black, with no lights and definitely no people, he feels totally hidden. He's thinking, this is the perfect spot. He's so confident that he's passed the test, and he happily enjoys his sweets.
But here's where the story takes a turn. While his brothers rushed off, little Qasim, well, he didn't move an inch. He just stood right there, holding his sweets, with a thoughtful look on his face. Something about this challenge just wasn't sitting right with him.
His first thought, the garden. I mean, it's huge, right? Surely there's a good hiding spot there. But, nope. He thinks to himself, people might see me out here, so that's not going to work.
All right, plan B, the backyard. What about behind that big bush? He thinks about it for a second, but then another thought pops into his head. Wait, what about the birds? They would see me. So still not a place where absolutely no one can see him. Okay, he's starting to run out of options here. He even thinks about just hiding under his blanket. You know, it's dark, it's safe, nobody could possibly see him under there. He's just about to dive under when, bam, a huge realization hits him.
And this, right here, is the whole point of the test. Qasim suddenly remembers something incredibly important. Even if he hides from every single person, every animal on the planet, there's still one who sees everything, everywhere, all the time. He realizes there is literally no place he can go where Allah cannot see him.
And with this new understanding, Qasim does something that's actually way braver than hiding. He decides not to eat the sweets at all. He just turns around, walks right back to his dad, his treat still in his hand, and returns it. And this table here really breaks it down perfectly, right? You can see the huge difference in how the boys thought about the challenge. Farouk and Abdullah were just looking for a place that was secret from other people. And yeah, they did that. But Qasim, he understood the challenge on a much, much deeper level. He knew the real mission was impossible.
So when his dad asks him what happened, Qasim just tells him the simple, honest truth. He says, Papa, I looked everywhere, but I couldn't find a single place where Allah couldn't see me. So I didn't eat it.
So what Qasim understood, even without knowing the fancy word for it, is this really big idea, omnipresence. It just means being everywhere all at once. And this story is just a beautiful, simple way to get your head around that massive concept. You can just imagine how proud Mr. Hassan was. He gives Qasim this huge hug and explains the real lesson to all 3 of his sons. He tells them, look, even when no one else is around, not your parents, not your teachers, not your friends, Allah is always watching, and watching with love. This encourages us to be good all the time, not just when we think we might get caught.
It's a really lovely story, no doubt. But why is it so powerful?
Why does this simple little test about some sweets matter so much more than just a family lesson?
Well, the real power here comes from what it teaches us about integrity. See, true integrity isn't what you do when everyone's watching. That's just a performance. It's about who you are when you're completely alone. Our choices in those private moments are what really define our character. And the story suggests that being aware that you're always seen, not by a critic, but by a loving presence, that might just be the best motivation to be our best selves.
And that leaves us with a final thought to chew on. What would actually change in our lives, in our decisions, and in our character if we truly lived every single moment as if we are always seen? It's a powerful question, isn't it? All inspired by a simple test with a handful of sweets.